Hello, guys. Good late kind of night for me. Good morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever it is you're watching this. APUSH lesson 6. We are still in unit 1. Join me for a live session. I can help you out for the APUSH exam. Wearing a different AP reader shirt this time. This is my 2021 shirt. 2021 shirt. Office hours 2 to 4. Book an appointment. More than happy to give you a mini lesson there as well. This is the textbook for your class. You're encouraged to rent it. I believe it's like $25. If not, there's the American Yop, which you can use as well. One moment. Oh, sorry, I had to answer a message. Um, we're in unit 1. Let's finish unit 1 with lesson 6. Lesson 6 will take us into, I think it's analyzing primary documents. So history activities, right? We will define and explain how it is put together. I have a few things to show you. They have a few things to show you here as well. Objectives, define history. So how we get history, right? History, you can't see this, so zoom in for us. Here we go. The reason history is not always the same as reality is that we, the students of the present, do not always have access to the past. Our technology these days is marvelous. You pick up your phone, you record, it's instant history. Back then, it comes all off memory, right? With this said, we have two types of sources. We have primary sources in history and secondary sources in history. A primary source is if I write something about something I witnessed, right? I'm here in Laredo, Texas. I'm downtown Laredo, and you start hearing gunshots from across the river because the Mexican cartels are having a gunfight with the Mexican military, right? In the early 2010, 2011, we had a squadron of Apache helicopters that were flying in my home city because the violence across was getting pretty bad. I was in high school and they turned on the TV in our classroom and I saw the Twin Towers fall. I saw one tower get hit. I saw this. I can write, oh my goodness, when I was in high school, I saw 9/11 happen. Primary document, primary source. My grandma, born in 1925, lived in the roaring 20s childhood. Her teenage years were in the Great Depression, and her late teenage, early 20s was during World War II. She would tell me stories about this stuff. That's a primary source. She was there. She witnessed it. Columbus wrote a journal about his journeys. Primary source. At the same time, a secondary source is I am a secondary source. Me telling you stories about the past that I did not live is a secondary source. At the same time, YouTube videos about the war in the Ukraine right now, primary source. Videos, news videos about COVID and how it spread, primary source. These videos, actual history taking place, is primary. In the same respect, secondary is not, right? So historians are people who use sources to recreate what happened in the past. What I used for mine, and let me turn off my video. I do have a master's degree in history. My diploma is over here, but I wrote a book on Vietnam veterans in my hometown. My book has pictures of these Vietnam veterans. I interviewed them. They spoke to me. They told me how it was. And I put it. I'm a historian. I wrote something about history, right? The people I interviewed are primary sources. I actually interviewed Vietnam veterans. I, as a historian writing about this, am a secondary source, right? The problem is, as it says right here, and it's just perfectly right, uh, is that the big problem here is that neither component of history is perfect. In World War II history, we are often told the story of the USA, but do we get to hear or read the story of the Japanese or the stories of the Nazis? Yes, I drew a swastika. It's okay, it's World War II history. We often only hear the stories that are meant to be told to us. Oh, all you're going to get is USA history. but every story has two sides, if not multiple sides to the story. Your activity here actually comes with interpreting some of these sources and writing about them yourself, right? So, Bartolome de las Casas, a priest, will head into Spanish Mexico and will write about how Native Americans are being treated. Not nice, by the way, what he says. Throughout history, we get plenty of these primary and secondary sources of what is taking place. Another great primary source is this book. One of the books that I have my APUSH kids read, not you guys, because I actually assign a lot of readings in my class. Alvar Núñez, Cabeza de Vaca, The Chronicle of the Narvaez Expedition. In 1516, 17, he's on a boat heading to Florida. A hurricane hits them and he gets stranded in Florida. He makes his way from Florida to Mexico City over 7 years. When he gets to Mexico City, he writes his adventure down. Oh, by the way, for my basketball people, I have a Jam Morant rookie card in here. Anyways, this is the primary source. This guy traveled the American South and he wrote about it. Me telling you about Cabeza de Vaca, again, is this secondary source in history. Your assignment or activity for today is different than what you're used to. It's not multiple choice. It's actually like a self-assessment. What you will be doing is, and I'll go through this with you shortly. Oh no, I guess it is. Oh, maybe that's my bad. Wrong source. Hey, why isn't history always the same as reality? Too expensive? I mean, was everybody educated? We don't have access to the past, but through sources. Those who write history are always trying to make someone look bad. If to an extent, sure, why not? Too much time has gone by for realistic history to be written. That's true. The older people get, the less accurate their history is. Our primary source is, spoke about that. A source in history is, spoke about that as well. I'm confusing this assignment with another assignment where you have to write a grade yourself. Apologies, guys. Multiple choice questions, 1 through 4. Bartolome de las Casas is complicated as a historian because read. You're always encouraged to read, guys. You're not going to learn much if you don't read for yourselves. It's doable. I know reading is not easy, but I discussed a lot of these answers the way I have been for you all. If anything, you just have to read De las Casas again, but I give you a summary of what and who De las Casas is and was. This finishes Unit 1. For us, for APUSH, you have, here, my bad. It's the assignment that I was referring to. You have an assignment about John Smith and Pocahontas. This assignment that you're going to do, I was not confusing myself, is you're going to analyze this portrait, analyze her portrait, and then read some of their stories. And at the bottom, you're going to decide whether each of the sources is primary or secondary. And then you're going to grade yourself, right? Pictures. Here's Pocahontas, not Disney, but actual Pocahontas. She actually dies in England. She's taken overseas and she dies in the bury her in England. Here's John Smith, not Pocahontas John Smith, but still John Smith. And here is more John Smith. He basically puts the people at Jamestown to work. Pocahontas with the Powhatan tribe will save Jamestown. And there's Pocahontas' grave, actual person. Right? Crazy, isn't it? Do we need this next one? Nah, this is something else for another class. Okay, so back to here. Once you write, you will score, you will submit. We'll see how you guys do. You have questions, email me, office times, or show up for a live meeting. Other than that, have yourselves a good night. I wish you all the best. I will see you next week or as you need me. Let me end my recording.